welcome back. I'm here 1 week after the previous upload. I'm sticking to this new schedule for now, so you're welcome. Yeah, hi. How are you? I hope you're well. I hope the first almost 2 weeks of the new year has been treating you well. There hasn't really been a lot of time for things to happen. However, you know, I only live in my little bubble here in the UK. So even though not much has happened here, I'm sure there's plenty of things that are happening around the world. I'm pretty sure there are currently fires or like wildfires in it's somewhere in the United States. I'm not too sure. I want to say California, but I don't know if that's right. California, LA, something like that. I'm not sure, but regardless, I hope that if anybody is listening from that part of the world, that you are safe, or if you have family in that part of the world, I hope they're doing okay. Fires are a scary thing. Thankfully, it's not really something that we have to worry about here in the UK. Wildfires, I mean, because our climate just isn't suitable for that sort of thing to start or to spread. At least to a degree where it's significantly damaging. But yeah, stay safe is my message, I guess. I don't know. I haven't really been thinking much about the world, which sounds strange to say out loud. That's a weird way of saying that I've just been focusing on me, I guess, which is what I've been doing. I have been focusing on me. But as you know, sometimes you just have to do that. Sometimes you just have to. Because if you don't focus on yourself, well, who is? Kind of responsible for that. But anyway, so yeah, we're 12 days into the new year. And for me, it has been, I mean, I would say it's been more eventful than like the past couple of weeks or the last couple of weeks of last year. I have met up with friends a few times because people are starting to come back to their student accommodations now, and so I've been able to see 3 different friends, but only 2 of them I've actually spent time with, and one of them I have seen multiple times at this point. So yeah, I'm feeling a bit happier in general because I'm able to see people and talk to people and hang out with people. I suppose there is kind of a downside to people returning to their accommodation, which is, well, okay, so over the Christmas holidays, I was basically in this building by myself, and I was starting to get used to the building being almost completely silent. But now that people have started to come back, there is noise, which, is expected, but unfortunately, the loudest of my neighbours have come back first, which means I have to put up with their obnoxious, overly loud noises, which is a bit annoying, I can't lie. I don't know how to describe it, but last night there was some strange sounds coming from the people above me. It sounded like a guy, like a man, growling, and like there was a little girl as well. It was really odd, but thankfully it didn't last too long. Yeah, it was strange. So some noisy people have returned, which is a bit annoying, but I guess it's just things are just going back to the way they were before. But yeah, overall I've been happier. So this week has been this week's been pretty good, I would say. Not much happened in the first half of the week. All of the snow has melted now, because we had snow last week, but it's all gone here at least. But I went on a little trip on Friday to visit a friend who lives in a nearby town. So I hopped on a train and went to go spend the day with them. And they still have a ton of snow, because we were planning on like meeting up maybe here or elsewhere, but they could not get their car out because of how much snow they had. So they were kind of trapped. So instead, I offered to go to them. And so that's what happened. I hopped on a train and went to them instead. And actually, I'm kind of glad it worked out that way, because it was a nice change of scenery for me. It was the first time leaving this city since I moved here in September of last year. So it was the first time seeing a new environment. It's pretty similar, but it was still new. So I enjoyed looking around and admiring the new the new the stuff around. So yeah, it was nice. It was a really nice day. I had a lovely time. It was really cold, but we had a lot of fun. I was given a tour, like a short tour of like the main like town center area, and then we went to a cafe. We had a little drink, sat down, had a chat, discussed a bunch of stuff. Basically just had a bit of a catch up, and that was nice. And then we just went for a bit of a walk around. I was taken to like where they work, and that was cool. Actually, it doesn't sound that interesting, but because of where they work, I'm not gonna say it, but because of where they work, it was actually quite a cool place to be. And then we walked to a park, and in this park there was this small like remote controlled boat pond. So it was a pond specifically for remote controlled boats. But obviously we're in winter, so it was frozen over, and we may or may not have took a few steps onto the ice. I was very careful, and I usually wouldn't do something like that because I have seen far too many videos of people falling in, and I've also heard far too many stories of people falling in and not necessarily coming out. So I was on edge, to say the least, but we were fine, and we had a good time. There were other people who were a bit braver than us, and they like went out to the middle of this pond thing, but we had a good time. And then we continued on to like this little children's playground area, but the nearby children were all sledding down a big hill, so we kind of had the place to ourselves. And it was honestly, I haven't been into like a children's playground, obviously, for quite a while now. But it was actually quite nice to just mess around, and it honestly made me feel like a kid again, and it was really nice. I there was they had a zip line, and so I went on the zip line, and that was great because when I was a kid, my dad used to take me and my sister. Well, he took us to a few different parks, but there was one in particular that had a set of like parallel zip lines, and my sister and I would race each other on the zip lines, and it was so fun, and that's what it reminded me of. So we had a really good time, or at least I did. I mean, I know they did too, but yeah, it was great fun. And then after that, because it was starting to get a bit dark at this point, and we were near their house, so we just went inside and we spent a couple of hours in their house. I was very kindly offered food, which I didn't ask for and was not expecting, but to be fair, I was quite hungry, so I'm glad that it happened. So I had some food, and then we played on their Nintendo Wii, which is another thing that I haven't done since I was a kid. So, yeah, overall, a fantastic day. Absolutely loved it, and yeah, I would absolutely do that again. But this friend has, I mean, at this point, they've essentially promised that they're going to go climbing with me one day, which I'm super excited about. I obviously really enjoy climbing. I've been doing it for like 3 months now. And actually, I went climbing literally just, I came back like almost an hour ago. I went for a bit of a late night climbing session just before they closed. But yeah, so obviously I really enjoy climbing, and I've been talking about it to this friend, and I think I've gotten them interested too. So yeah, I'm really excited to take them climbing and show them the ropes, literally. Yeah, it's gonna be fun. Yeah, it's gonna be fun. And the best part is there is a climbing gym here, obviously. Actually, there's two, but they want to go to the one that I go to. And then there's also a climbing gym next to where they live, so we can go to that one as well. And that'll be fun because new gym, new, routes to climb. It looks to be much bigger as well, so I'm excited. I'm very excited. So yeah, hung out with that friend on Friday, and then Saturday I kind of did nothing because I was pretty tired from the day before. And what's really annoying actually is this week I have really tried to get some work done because I still have an assignment. I still have an essay to write. And I've been really trying to get more of it done, but I really struggle to bring myself to actually do it. Like, I'm procrastinating hard. And I mean, it's okay at the moment because I still have 12 days to get it done, but time is running out, and I do want to make sure it's good as well. Like, I don't want to just hand in something that's passable. I want it to be actually good. So I need to make sure I give myself enough time to review it properly and make any changes that could potentially improve it or whatever. But I'll do it tomorrow. I've been saying that all week, but I'll do it tomorrow. So yeah, I didn't do anything yesterday, and then wait, no, what day is it today? It's Sunday. Friday. What? Wait, what? Hang on, I've just confused myself. When did I go see that first friend? Was it Thursday? I swear it was Friday. Actually, yeah, no, it was. It was Friday. I went to go see the friend on Friday, and then yesterday was spent mostly doing nothing, but in the evening, I was able to hang out with a different friend. A friend who has since moved back into their accommodation, which is here, because we live in the same building. So we spent the evening playing multiple games of pool. And that was quite interesting, to say the least. I did share some videos from that on my Instagram. And I promise I'm not as bad as it looks. we were messing around with different rules, and yeah, it was good though. It was a lot of fun. But yeah, we did that for a few hours. I think we met up at like 7. Yeah, we were there for like 3 hours just playing. It was fun. But that wasn't originally what I intended to do. I mean, this friend is someone who I requested to catch up with because they arrived back here earlier this week, and I wanted to catch up with them because I hadn't seen them since we broke up for Christmas last year. So we planned to have a little bit of a catch up once they kind of settled back in, I suppose. They also wanted to try and get some work done this week, so understandable, you know. So yeah, I wasn't intending on hanging out with them yesterday, but I learned some information while on my trip on Friday that kind of sped up a process that I was planning out in my head. Basically, I feel like I've talked about this already, so I'm going to keep this brief. But there are 3 friends who I was hoping to be able to live with for second year. Now, this hope that I had was under the assumption that they would continue to live together. Turns out they're not, at least not like they are right now. And so when I learned that information, I was like, okay, well, I have to ask then. I have to get this out of the way, otherwise I'm going to start panicking. But yeah, anyway, so the person that I hung out with yesterday, talked to them about it. They explained what they were planning on doing. I explained to them, like, my feelings about it. And long story short, I will be moving in to a different studio apartment for my second year, but it will be in the same building as these friends that I was hoping to live with. Because they're all moving into the same building, and I'm essentially following them. But we're all going to be in our own separate studios. We're just going to be neighbors instead. So it's not exactly what I was hoping for, but it is probably the best case scenario. So yeah, that's kind of a big bit of news that I have. Still trying to finalize the details of that and get it all like complete. Gonna try and get that done next week. But yeah, I finally have somewhere to live for second year. So yeah, pretty happy with it, I think. The problem is, once I learned that they weren't going to be living together, and that if I wanted to continue to like see them regularly outside of uni, I knew that I would have to move quickly and kind of secure a place next to them, which is what I've done. But my other backup plan for when I posed the question to them, can I live with you, and they said no, my other backup plan was going to be, well, living in a studio again, but not here. And by here, I mean this city. In fact, I was thinking of moving to the nearby town that I went to on Friday to visit that friend. Because it's not that far away. It would mean I would have to commute to university on days that I have to be in, which I guess it's not ideal, but it's not a terrible journey. It's only 30 minutes on the train. Although, that being said, getting train tickets for the days that I have to go in, which at the moment is 4 days a week, tickets are about £10. They can be less, but they would be about £10, I would say. That's like £40 a week minimum, just for train tickets. So it's, yeah, bit of a, it's like I said, it's not ideal. It wouldn't be ideal, which is why it was a backup plan. I mean, technically it would be cheaper overall, because the studio that I found in that town is like £80 cheaper per week than my current one. And then if you add £40 onto that for commuting, it still comes out cheaper than this one. So overall, it would have been cheaper. But at the same time, commuting is a little risky because if, say, for example, the trains are cancelled on that day, or, you know, the train service is just not working, then I have no way of getting to uni, which would then affect my attendance, which would then possibly, if it happened regularly enough, affect my chances at going to South Korea for my third year, because our attendance is an important factor in our eligibility. What the fuck? Eligibility. You know what I'm trying to say. Our attendance kind of determines whether or not we can go. We need a good attendance, basically. At the moment, not to brag or anything, but I do kind of have a 100% attendance, just saying. And I would like to maintain that if I can. So, yeah. It was, a backup plan. It was kind of like the final choice if there were no other choices. But there are other choices, and so I've gone with them instead. But, yeah, I still, despite having reserved a room, I'm still thinking about that backup plan, because what's really appealing to me is simply the change of scenery. Living here has been great. I've been living here since September, but it's only been 3 months and I already feel like I've seen everything, because I go out so regularly. I go on walks regularly. I go exploring. I feel like out of everyone on my course, I'm the most traveled, like the most experienced when it comes to seeing everything that this city has to offer. Like I feel like I've been everywhere, and so I'm already starting to kind of get bored of my surroundings, which sounds crazy, but it's true. Like, seeing the same stuff every day does get boring. And before getting here to uni, I spent 8 years looking at the same thing every day, So that's kind of ingrained into my head that a change of scenery often is a good thing, which, I mean, I think it is personally. I don't like being in the same environment for too long. So, yeah, moving to a nearby town and commuting is still an appealing option for me, simply for the change of scenery. But again, it's a bit risky because of the train services, and the train services often go on strike here in the UK. I don't know if it's like a countrywide thing or not. I just hear about it on the news somewhat regularly, so I'm just a bit worried that if I do go with that option, it's gonna start having an effect on my attendance, which would really suck. And then there's also the other, like, reason, I guess, of not being close to many of my friends, because most of them currently reside here in this city. There is one, I'd say one friend who would be living in the same town as me. It's the same friend that I went to go see on Friday. So I would get to see them as much as I like, which would be great because I love them. They're, you know, a great friend. But I wouldn't be able to see anybody else. Not really. Not outside of university time, unless I commuted. But if I'm already commuting 4 times a week minimum, I don't know if I'd want to do it anymore, you know? So I do think I've made the right decision by staying here in this city. But I can't help but also desire a change of scenery. I don't know, I should probably just stop thinking about it and just accept what's already happened. I think maybe, yeah, just staying here and then commuting to different places whenever I want a change of scenery is probably just better, I think. There's also just more to do here, even though I feel like I've seen everything already. I haven't done everything. Like, this place is bigger, so yeah, I don't know. But that's kind of what's been happening over the past couple days. And then, importantly, there's another thing that's happening tomorrow in regards to accommodation, and that is rent. The second installment of rent is due tomorrow. And I'm a little concerned because I cannot access my account to pay the rent. I'm going to have the money, I just can't access my account. So I'm going to take that up with the people at reception tomorrow. Because, yeah, otherwise I'm going to get kicked out. We don't want that. So, yeah. What else? My timetable has officially been changed. So I think I might have mentioned this last week. I requested to change my module from multilingualism to phonetics. And so over the past week, my timetable has been slowly changing, and I believe it is finally done. And now I have a new timetable. And it's a decent timetable. As far as I know, I still don't have any 9 a.m.s, which is really nice. And also, that's the other thing as well. If I were to move to that nearby town and commute every day, if I ever had a 9 a.m. lecture, I would have to wake up at like 7, maybe even earlier, because it's 30 minutes to get there, and then probably another 10 to 15 minutes to get from the station to uni. So in total about 45 minutes to get to uni. Actually, that's not even including like time from accommodation to the station. So it could potentially take up to an hour to get to uni. And if I have a 9 a.m. lecture and I want to wake up in the morning with enough time to like have breakfast, shower, whatever, I will probably be getting up at like 6, half 6, something like that. And that's a bit much, you know? That's a bit much. But anyway, so yeah, timetable. My timetable's pretty good. Like I said, I don't think I have any 9 a.m.s. However, on Monday, there is a class, a phonetics lecture, that starts at 4:30 p.m. That's when it starts, and it finishes at 6 p.m. Excuse me? What? So yeah, that's a bit that's a bit mean, I think, because that's like exactly when I'm gonna want to have my dinner, you know? I'm gonna be so hungry at the end of that. So we'll see how that works out. But I am actually quite happy with who are in my classes. Because in both of my phonetics classes, I've got one on Monday, one on Thursday. I'm with the same people, I think. Well, when I say same people, I mean I am with friends, people that I know. So I'm most likely going to be hanging out with those same people in both classes, which is nice. That means I'll have, people to hang out with. And then on Tuesday is when I have my Korean. The Korean groups, as far as I'm aware, are staying the same as last semester. So unfortunately, I won't get to see any of those same friends in my Korean because they're not in my Korean. On Wednesday, I have Wednesdays off, just like last time. Thursdays are my longest days, starting at 12:30 and finishing at 5:30. That's gonna be fun. Literally, I'm gonna have to have my lunch before we start, and then I'm gonna have to have my dinner straight after we're done. So that's 2 days of the week where I'm going to be hungry throughout my lectures. That's fun. And then on Friday is another Korean, which, according to the timetable, starts at 1:30 and finishes at 5:30, but it is not 4 hours long, as far as I'm aware. I think they just haven't split up the groups yet. So, yeah, it's the same as Tuesday. So they just need to split up the groups. Unless they are just lumping us all together. Maybe they are. I don't know. If they are, then that means I'm gonna have 8 hours of Korean a week, and that would also mean that I do have a 9 a.m. on Tuesday, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Oh, that's so miserable. And then on Friday it would be 1:30 to 5:30. So hopefully they split us up like they did last time, but we'll see. Regardless, I'm still pretty happy with this timetable. It could be worse, I could have multiple 9 a.m.s. So, yeah. That's kind of the update on all that stuff. I went out today, and I purchased a birthday present for the friend that I hung out with on Friday, because it's their birthday in a couple of days. It's actually it's somebody else's birthday today, a different friend of mine, but they are not back here in York, so I can't get them anything. But I would be able to give this other friend, whose birthday it is in a couple days, their gift. And so I went out today, got something for them. I bought them a K-pop album and a small card. So I need to make sure I write that card and wrap the gift. I mean, they already know what the gift is because I told them. Usually I don't do that. However, when it comes to K-pop, I am still pretty oblivious. I don't really know what I'm looking for. And so I kind of sneakily asked them. Well, I say sneakily. It wasn't really, but basically when we hung out on Friday, we went into a shop that sells like albums and stuff, and they have like they had a small K-pop section. So we went in there for like 5 minutes. We checked it out really quick, and because of that, I took it upon myself today to visit that same, like that, not the exact same shop, but like it's a part of the same chain, I guess, of shops. There's just another location here. I went over and on the way, I messaged this friend asking them if they were looking for anything in particular on Friday. And then they told me that they were looking for this, 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 and this. So I was like, okay. And so I spent like 15 to 20 minutes staring at these K-pop shelves, not really knowing what I'm looking for, except for names. So it was a bit tricky, but I eventually found something that they were interested in. And so I bought it. And I kind of, that's not exactly how it went, because I was there for so long, I sent them another message saying, I'm in this shop looking at K-pop albums. Is there anything in particular that you're interested in? And they were like, oh, what kind of stuff do they have? And then so I sent them a bunch of pictures because I wasn't about to list them all out. And then they picked one of those pictures out. And they were like, I don't have this one yet. And so I was like, boom, there we go. And that's the gift. And then I bought it. So they know what to expect, but it's something that they want anyway. So it's all good. So yeah, it's kind of been my day, really. Not much else has happened. I mean, I went climbing earlier, but it wasn't that interesting. It was also only a short session because I went like an hour before they closed. And yeah, that's kind of it for today, I think. I don't know what else to talk about. Not much else has happened. I really need to make sure I get some work done next week at some point. It's so... my only issue with this current task is that I don't feel there's enough direction. You know, that's what I'm struggling with. It's a lack of direction. I don't know where to go with this essay. I know what to write about, I just don't know how to get there, if that makes sense. So I don't know what I'm going to do about that, but I'll figure it out. It's part of the process, I suppose. Oh, sorry. I was yawning. I have more information, actually, before I go. And this is actually kind of a big deal. So I began playing D&D in January of last year. And we have played almost every week since then. We played through one campaign, and then we took a short break, and then we played through another campaign, which technically would still be ongoing at the moment. However, our DM, unfortunately, lost a bunch of data, and so all of our progress was pretty much lost. All of our characters, our character sheets, like everything that they needed to run the campaign was gone. And so we had to make the difficult decision to try and recover what we can and continue until the end, which would be about 6 to 8 weeks from now. Like, that's the approximate time left in the campaign, or just call it where it is and leave it. And this question was posed to each of the members, so we all received it individually, and I have decided to pull out of the campaign and stop playing. That was a difficult decision to make because, well, towards the end of last semester, when the campaign was still going, I was struggling to maintain a balance between work and everything else. I hadn't quite figured out how to do all of those things in a healthy way. So I would actually request to not participate in certain weeks and instead focus on my schoolwork. And I was starting to notice that my interest in continuing to play was diminishing. And my priorities had shifted to uni and to this new life that I'm currently living. There wasn't enough time for it all, and I had to make a sacrifice. And so I have sacrificed my position in the campaign after, this news of losing everything. So I will no longer be playing any more D&D, which is a little bit sad, if I'm being honest, because I have thoroughly enjoyed each and every week that we have played. And through playing, I have met some fantastic people and some fantastic friends. So I'm very grateful for the chance to go through all of that. And in the future, I could definitely return. But yeah, for now, I will no longer be playing any more Dungeons and Dragons. But I do have other priorities now, and because of the approximate time left in the campaign, which is 6 to 8 weeks, it's gonna bleed into the first couple of weeks of the new semester, which is a time when I want to be focusing on my university work. And there's going to be some new stuff happening. I'll have a new schedule to get used to. I'll have new classes, new people around. So it's just, yeah, it's for the best. But it is a bit of a sad thing to have to leave. I think everybody else, as far as I'm aware, are continuing on. But I will not be there. But it's okay. It's not the end of the world. They're going to continue playing. They're going to continue having fun. And then eventually that campaign will end. And I think there's plans to start a new one, a third one. But I'm not going to be present for that one either, I don't think. I'm going to stop playing for the foreseeable future until I don't really have to worry about anything anymore, if that makes sense. So, yeah, some sad news, but it's okay. I'll live. And I mean, I didn't even, like, this wasn't a planned thing, but my first D&D character was called Foss. And there are quite a few places here in York that are also named after Foss, like Foss Islands, or I mean, that's the only example I can think of right now, but there are other places, other locations around this city that are also called Foss. I mean, there's a gym just around the corner called, like, Foss Fit. So I found that to be quite amusing when I first got here, seeing my first D&D character's name kind of scattered around the place. I thought it was quite funny. And the accommodation that I'll be moving into for second year is called Foss Studios. So I thought that was quite funny too. A nice little reminder of my character, I guess. So, yeah. What else? Is there anything else? I don't know. I feel like I should try and get to an hour long because we're most of the way there. I just don't know what else to talk about. Not much else has happened. I mean, there's been like a couple of minor things, I suppose. Like, for example, last night when I was hanging out with a friend, playing pool, once we were done, we spotted a stream of water running down the side of the road, which isn't normally there. So we went outside to investigate. Turns out there is a leak in the road, like there is a spout of water coming out of the road, which obviously not supposed to be happening. So we reported it to the council, I think, and they're going to take a look at it. But when I went out climbing earlier and I came back, I checked it out again, and it is definitely getting worse. So I'm glad we did something about it, because I'm worried that there's going to be like a huge, like, fountain of water exploding out of the road if we leave it too long. But also, there's a good chance that it affects our water supply here in the building. I don't know exactly where it's coming from, but because it's so close to this building, once they start working on it, there's a good chance that we either, like, lose access to our water temporarily, or I don't know, something like it could affect the building, is what I'm trying to say. Hopefully it doesn't, but it could. So yeah, that happened last night. What else? I'm trying to think back to earlier this week. Not much happened. Monday. What happened on Monday? I don't know. Tuesday? Well, Tuesday was supposed to be D&D, but that did not happen either. Wednesday? Anything happen on Wednesday? I don't think so. Thursday? No, nothing happened on Thursday. Friday was when I went to see my friend. Saturday, I was too tired to do anything, but also I hung out with another friend. And then today, I haven't done much. Oh, you know what? I was supposed to go food shopping today because I've run out of, like, all breakfast food. I have nothing for breakfast tomorrow. That's really annoying. Oh, I should have picked something up. Oh well. I'll figure it out in the morning. I'll also figure out how to pay my rent. Yeah. So, yeah, today's been pretty uneventful. I had a phone call with my mother, basically informing her of my decision about my accommodation and other stuff. Apparently at home we're getting some things, like some changes are happening at home. So one of them's already happened. Basically, a bunch of people came into our garden and chopped down some trees. We paid them to do it. I don't know why we needed to get rid of them, but yep, when I go back, there will no longer be trees where I'm expecting trees to be. And then also, so I think I've explained this before on the channel. At home, there is a really annoying. I don't know what to call them. That would be appropriate. There's a really annoying waste of space at home who insists on closing all the doors all the time. And it's so fucking annoying. And it also affects Luna, because Luna can't open doors, but she still needs to have the freedom to go about the house as she pleases. But this waste of space literally doesn't care. So we've basically said, fuck you, we are going to knock a hole through a different wall and put a door in it so that we can keep it open and you can keep your bullshit doors closed. And then we just stay out of each other's way, basically. So that's happening. And that's actually a really good change because, oh my god, I haven't had to think about those fucking doors since I got here. But now that I am thinking about it, I'm instantly pissed off. Like, I don't know if you can understand fully how frustrating this is. It's just so unnecessary. It's so unnecessary. And he does it because he's a control freak. He does it because it makes him feel like he's doing something worthwhile when he's not at all. He is the definition of a waste of space. He just needs to hurry up and, I'm not going to say it, but, he's getting a bit old, so, he's got to hurry up and, anyway. If you can't tell, I really don't like this person. I don't wish, like, ill will really upon anybody. That's like the final straw for me. But man, the people at home are so, they deserve all the bad things, honestly. Like, I don't even care. Call me a bad person if you want, but these people are considerably worse. And it takes a lot for me to get angry. Like, it really does. I'm pretty patient. I'm forgiving. I guess, I have been living with them since I was, 12? So I'm not there anymore, but I was there when I turned 24. So yeah, I was living with them for 12 years before I got here. So I think I can be forgiven when I start, saying these things about these people, because trust me, they have made my life a living nightmare. And so I don't even regret saying these things because they deserve it. Anyway, I made it to an hour, so I'm gonna call it. I need to get a drink, probably have a shower before I go to bed, and then wake up somewhat early tomorrow so I can sort out my rent and also go get some breakfast. So that's what's going to happen. Thank you for listening. I appreciate it, as always. I will try and be back next week, next Sunday. So expect me then. And yeah, I'll give you some updates on things. If things happen, we'll see. But yeah, I'm going to go. Thanks for listening. And stay safe. Be well. Be good. I don't know. Look after yourselves. Yeah. Do that. Okay. Goodbye.